step from the beginning. So to create a Next.js website, in case you don't know how to install, like you don't know the syntax in your head, you can just search Next.js install. Then the first link you see will be a link to the installation page. Okay?
Simon,
Yeah?
sorry to cut you short. I hope you're recording the session.
Yes, I am.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, so when you come to their website to install, you're given a command that you can easily copy and paste. Okay? You copy and paste this into your terminal. So I'll come here into my editor. I've already launched the folder, it's empty, and I'm going to paste that code. Okay? And I'm going to press enter. It's a very easy step. This is how you install Next.js. Then it's going to ask you questions. Okay, to proceed, I'm going to type small y, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it demo. Enter. Sorry, no capital letters. Yeah, demo. Would you like to use TypeScript? For now, I'm going to say no. Would you like to use this? Yes. Would you like to use Tailwind? Yes, we're going to use some Tailwind. Would you like to, now this is optional. Would you like your code inside a source directory? This is optional, but I'm going to say yes. Would you like to use the app router? It's recommended, so I'm going to go with yes. Would you like to use Turbo Pack? Yes, most of these are already pre-selected for you. Then give it some time to install. It takes a while. You know it's installing when you're seeing this thing here.
Simon,
Yeah.
if I may ask, which system are you using? Are you using Windows OS or you're using a Mac?
I'm using Windows. Okay, it has installed. It has been successful. You will see it
Because
when you reset
I
here. Yes.
because I was using VS Code and I just kind of installed the extension from the marketplace and it didn't ask me all those steps. That's why I just wanted to be sure.
We're installing using the terminal, not a marketplace. That's not how you install Next.js. Like we started from here. This is the command you use to install a Next.js website or application. npx create hyphen next hyphen app, the @ symbol, latest. The latest means we're getting the latest version of the Next.js app. Okay, you can leave it out, but usually want to be on the latest version. I hope you have understood. I can continue.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so we have successfully installed. If I expand here, and if I'm to go back to that empty folder, we now have another folder. This folder was our project name that we gave it initially in the terminal. That's where the name comes from. and these are the packages we have installed, everything. So this is our Next.js website now. So we're going to start off, we're going to create a very small basic website. Okay.
Simon, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I will request, if you can, to change the theme, just for purposes of this session, change the theme of VS Code so that it becomes white and visible, as well as magnify the font size.
All right. Let me see.
I think file preferences somewhere or setting, yeah.
Actually, I've seen its preferences. Theme.
Yeah. There is a default one. Yeah. Uh-huh. You can magnify the font size. It's there 14. Try to put it to 20 maybe. Yeah, that's okay. It changes automatically for VS Code,
Automatically, okay. Let's test.
as you can see. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that is so visible. I believe everyone can see that, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Please.
we can see it better now.
Okay. All right. So we're going to create a small website, maybe just a hero section. In case you're wondering what a hero section is, a hero section is like the first part of the website you see when you go to any website.
Uh,
Like that first part you see.
Simon, sorry to cut you short. Kindly first take them through the structure, the directory structure of the Next.js application. What are node modules? What's the public? What's the source folder? What's all those? What's package.json? So that they get to know what is the relevance of each folder and file.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
Okay. Node modules. This is where all the packages and libraries will be that you install. So anything you install will be in here. For example, install Tailwind. It's right here in the node modules and all the other things we installed. So in case you have your own library that you want to install later or your own package, it will be in the node modules folder. The public folder, this is where we put things like images, things that people can access on the website that are public. Like the name suggests public, but this is where I usually keep your images. I'll create a folder, images. So most images you're going to use on your websites will be under the public directory, or anything else you would like to be public. The source directory, now this is where the code is, the main code we use, and the components and the routes. This is the main directory. For the package JSON, this shows the dependencies that your website is using. Like here in the dependencies, we're using React version 19. This specifies the version. We're using Next version 15.2. So that's what the package JSON is for. We're using Tailwind version 4. So that's what the package JSON is for. Okay, we're going to create a components folder. In case you're wondering what components are like, let me show you here on the website. A component is like a block, should I say like a block on our website, like a part of our website. Like now this navigation bar, right? This is a component also. It's a part of the website. Okay, this first section, the hero section, this is also a component. This button can also be a component. Okay, I'm trying to be very simple, but we shall get into all that later, where you'll understand it more. So let me first launch this website and we see what it says. So to run a local environment, you type in the command npm run dev. Okay, then you press enter. Missing script dev. Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong directory. So I've changed directory, in case wondering what this command is for. I was not yet in our project folder. So I'm going to type that same command again. Yeah, it's ready, so it's running. So I can come here in the browser and I'm going to say localhost 300 because this is the port we're using. Okay, this is the default port. Now this is the default website that comes after you install Next.js. This will be the default you see. Now all this is coming from the pages, the page folder, the page component. Like here we have the image, that's the Next.js logo, and that's the one we're seeing, this image. So we're going to delete this and redo our own so that you guys try to get the idea. Sorry. So now if I go back, our website will have nothing because we've deleted everything. We're starting from scratch. I'm going to create a component folder. This is where all my components will be. Components. Then I'm going to create another folder just because sometimes no, let me not get into that. Let's keep things simple. Let me call it hello.jsx. JSX means that this is a JavaScript component. That's what the X is for. If you leave out the X, then it's just JavaScript. With an X, it specifies that this is a component. Okay, then we're going to create there's a shortcut you can use to like initialize a default component, which is no, let's start from scratch. So we're going to give it a name, const hello. I hope you guys know JavaScript because this is like JavaScript. We're going to give it an arrow function. Then we're going to a component you return something. So we're going to return. Then I'm going to return, let's say, a div, an h1, and I'm going to say hello world. Then I have to export it as a default. Then I'm going to use the exact name here, this exact name. Okay, I'm going to save. Now if I'm to go back to our website, we should see nothing. Even if we refresh, and I'm going to explain why. The reason we see nothing is because we have not really exported this component. It's only in our folder. It's not in our sorry. Oh, I see the problem. Sorry for that. I had created the components folder in the app, within the app folder, which it shouldn't be in. So yeah, I was saying this component now, it should be within the page this page component. So to do that, we have to import it. We're going to import it. So to import, I'm going to come here and say import. Then I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it hello from. Then open quotes, and this is where you start specifying where that component is. You give it 2 dots and a slash to mean you're going out or you're going backwards. It's like here in the file explorer where you press the back button, so that's what those 2 dots mean, those 2 dots and a slash. Now I'm outside. Now I'm going to go to the components folder. Then here it is, it has auto completed hello. Then to use the components, you use these brackets, the name you gave here. Then this is a self-closing component, so it doesn't need to, you don't need to say like this, you don't need this. It's a self-closing tag. So if I'm to go back to our website, we should see hello world. Yeah, here it is. Now we're going to try to style it. I don't know, am I moving too fast? Hello? Am I on mute?
No, we can hear you. It's okay. We can move.
Okay, I thought I was going too fast. So what we have
No.
done, we have imported this component that's in another folder, right? We have imported it to this page, this page.js, and we have imported it here. We've given it a name hello. Then we have specified the location of the component. Okay, then this is how you use this component. Okay, now we're going to style it a bit using Tailwind. So when it comes to these frameworks, unlike HTML where you use class, right? Here you say class name, you don't just say class. Okay, make sure you add the name, capital N. Alright, then let's see how to style it. I'm going to try to center it. To center it, I'm going to say container. Now let me just say flex. Justify. Center. I'm also going to center it vertically. Center, I think. As you can see, it is centered horizontally at least. I think I'm getting the class name wrong here. This should be it. Maybe let me. By the way, in Tailwind we use class names. So when I say flex, I am meaning in pure CSS, this is the same as, let's say you had a div. This is the same as saying display. Display flex. So this is what this class name means in Tailwind. This is the same as this. When we say justify center, it's the same thing we do in CSS basically. Here we can try to make the text bigger by saying class name. Then I'm going to give it a text. Then in case you're wondering class names where I get them from, you can just go to the browser and search Tailwind. Then you go to the official website. Then you go over here where you see docs. This is where you'll get these class names from. docs, then it will take you through the installation in case you don't know. Then you can begin here where you can go down core concepts. Yeah, you can just browse the page for class names, where it will explain all the class names you need to know. For example, let me start with text, what I'm using. I want to make the text bigger, so I'll come here, font size. Now these are the class names we have for the font size. So there is text LG, which will give it a font size of 18 pixels, around there. So I can just come back here and say text LG. If I come back to our website, it's a bit bigger, though you guys can't see it. Let me use a bigger number. I think you can see how big it is now. I don't know if you guys can see. Another thing, I'm going to try to make sure this div takes up the whole height of the screen. And you say that by saying h screen, meaning one take the full height of the screen. I'm going to do the same with the width. So here I'm taking the full height of the screen and the full width. If I come back, that's why it's now centered, because before we're only taking maybe the full width, but we're not taking the height. So we're just styling using Tailwind. We have not written our own CSS. Yeah, so let's do something else. In fact, let me try to keep everything centered. To center my text, it's very simple. I'm going to say text, okay, text hyphen center. That's how you keep text centered. Again, everything I mentioned concerning Tailwind, it's in the documentation, so you just look for it. Okay, everything is in here. In case you can't find what you're looking for, you can come here where there's a search bar, where it has a shortcut key, Control K. You can come here, then you type what you're searching for in case you can't find it. Let me say text center, in case I didn't know it. Text center, it will show me. Click OK, then it will show me how to center text. Okay, so in case you can't find what you're looking for, you can always search for it here, the Tailwind documentation. Okay, I'm going to create a paragraph. I'm going to say welcome. Actually, let me keep them small letters. I want to show something later. Soft Coding Academy. If I come back, it's all in. Okay, now the reason why this is happening, well, this is next to the hello world, is because we gave it a display of flex, and by default display flex is set to row, flex row. So to change that, I'll have to make it column, and I say flex column. Okay, just say call to explicitly set that. If I come back, they're not the way they were, they're longer horizontal. So in case you don't know what flex is, then you can research display flex or the flexbox model in CSS, but that's how we use it in Tailwind. So we don't have to write our own CSS in Tailwind. We just use class names and everything is automatically done for us. Okay, in case, let's say you later want to change this text into capital letters, instead of rewriting the whole thing in capital letters, you can use a class name called uppercase. If fonts come back, everything is now in capital letters, even though in the code it's in small letters. Because of that class, they're now in capital letters, so I don't need to rewrite everything. Because this is a display flex, we can use a gap. Again, if you're familiar with the flexbox model, we just say gap, and let's say 20, just so that the gap is visible. You can see the gap. In case you wanted this to be margin, a margin instead of a gap, you can just come here, let's say hello world, and I wanted a margin bottom of 20. I just say MB hyphen 20, MB meaning margin bottom. Okay, that's what the B is. If you leave out the B, then this is just margin. So this applies to left, right, top, bottom. It applies to all of them. But if you specify with a B, that's bottom, with a T, in case you want the top, then you set T. In case you want the left, then you use L. In case you want the right, R. That's how it works. So margin bottom 20, we're no longer using gap, we're now using margin. It should still have the same effects. If I'm to take out the margin bottom, then there will be no margin bottom. Everything will be stacked together, like you can see. In case you're wondering why everything is happening automatically, it's because our local server is running when we did npm run dev. Yeah, that's why everything you do, it's hot reloaded, so you don't need to refresh the page to see your changes reflected. They're reflected immediately. Immediately you type, it's reflected, so you don't need to refresh your page. Let's try to now create like a button. Just say button, let's say sign up. Come back to the page, it's there, sign up. I'm now going to give a margin bottom on the paragraph so that there is some space. Make sure you use small letters when you're dealing with class names. They are very case sensitive. The class names are very sensitive. 5. Okay, now there's a gap. Oh, I had got rid of this gap. Let me put a small gap so that everything looks neat. I'm using margin, by the way, margin bottom. I'm not using gap because I wanted to show you guys how margin works. Now with my button, I'm going to give it a background color. Again, we set class name. That's how we use classes in components. To give a background, you use bg hyphen, then the color you want, let's say red. Then I can specify the value. Okay, in Tailwind, colors have values. Let me try to look for it here. Yeah, background color right here. Then you can see the different colors they have. You can just press show more. Right now, like red, they have bg hyphen red hyphen 50, 100, 200, 300, 500, all the way to 950. They have orange, they have almost any color you can think of, they'll have it. Okay, so this is where you come for background colors, anything. Every class name I use, it's in the documentations, so you don't have to cram these class names, but the more you use them, the more, you know, they're in the head, you don't think about it. So I'm going to give a value of 700 so that it's visible. As you can see, it's there. I'm going to try to make this text bigger so that we can clearly see what's happening. Text, again, I think I told you guys how you can check the font size. I'm going to give it 3XL, meaning 3 extra large. Yeah, I think you guys can see that. Now we're going to add padding. Since we have done margin, we're going to now do padding. To do padding we use P. It's the same thing like margin but with a P. So in case you want padding bottom, that's a B, top T, right R, left L. So that's how you do padding. So I'm going to give it a padding of, to do a top and bottom together, instead of saying, let's say padding top 2, padding bottom 2, instead of saying this, you can achieve this with just one line, and that is PY2. So PY meaning top bottom, that's what the Y means. You're targeting both top and bottom together. If you want to come back, if you have to notice there is some padding between the top and the bottom. We're going to try to do the same thing on the sides. For the sides, instead of saying padding right 5, padding left 5, right, in case you want to target both of them, you do the same thing using px, okay, x n hyphen 5. So the y is for top and bottom, and the x is for left and right. So if we want to come back, we can now see our button here. There's now padding both on the left and the right. I might give it a border because maybe you don't like the sharp corners for your button. To give like a round shape, we use the class name round. Okay, round. I think it's rounded actually. In case you're not sure, you can always come back. Like I said, in their documentations, everything is there. Round, but a radius, yeah, it's rounded. So yeah, rounded. Then you specify how much roundness you want, like how round you want it to be. You can give it small, that is SM. Come back to our website. If you have to notice, let me try to zoom in. It's kind of rounded, not so much, it's very small, like the name suggests. Then now let me try LG, meaning large. I don't know if it's more noticeable to you guys. I can see it's very noticeable. Then in case you want it completely round, you can say full, and you'll notice it's now completely round. It's no longer sharp. So that's how border radius works in Tailwind. That's how you can make things round, sharp. If you let me see what else. But have you guys understood up to here? We're using Tailwind. I don't know if I'm too fast or too slow. Hello? Are you guys there?
We are okay.
Are you
We are
guys
following.
understanding?
We are following.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone understands up to here. Because I don't want to leave anyone behind. Alright.
Maybe just a clarification. You said the PX it is for left and right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and PY is for top and bottom. But in case you want to specify only the top, you don't want to bother the bottom, then you specify top. But in case you want to target both, you use PY or PX. In case you want to target all of them at once, then you don't specify, you just say P. Like in case I wanted all of them, top, bottom, right, left, to have a padding of, let's say, 10, I don't specify, I just say P 10. I don't specify anything. If I'm to come back, both the left, the right, the top, bottom, they all have the same padding. Yeah, so that's how it works. So here I think we've created our first page, at least, yeah, our first page. Hello world. Have you guys understood really? I don't know, should I continue to another concept? Or you guys are tired?
No, we can continue. We can continue. Maybe now when I want to arrange it, for example, on the right hand side, you remember the way you are designing the website, the pivotal website. I saw you didn't align them on the center. You aligned them a bit on the left, such that this side you put up a certain form kind of thing. So how do I arrange them on the other side?
What do you mean?
Yes,
You mean
like
here?
that. Yes,
The
you
image
arrange
and
them.
this?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. First, I'm going to need an image, so I'm going to borrow one. In fact, let me try to use the same image. We can ignore this step. I'm just getting that image I used. Yeah. And like I said, our images will go into the public directory. Then you can create a folder for images, and this is where you put your images. To be more organized, you can maybe like make folders within the images to specify what, like icons, like a folder for the icons, a folder for the backgrounds, like to be organized. Okay,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
I'm seeing the format of the image. Why don't we use JPEG? Why is it that we are using PNG or we use P? Is that another format? Which is it called?
The formats don't really matter that much. PNG
Okay.
PNG is mostly for images with a transparent background. That's what PNG is mostly for. Like maybe a logo is likely to be a PNG in case you want that logo to have a transparent background. So that's what PNG is mostly for, in case the background is transparent. Like it doesn't have a white background, a black, anything. It's just the image. Other than
Okay.
that, the formats don't really matter. You can use
And
any
the
format.
size?
The size you can always change it in the code. I'm going to show you how. Okay, so I'm going to import this image. The image is in the public directory, images folder, and it's here. So to import an image in Next.js, the first thing you do is you import an image component. Import image, and it's here auto completed for me from next image. This is the line you will need when you're dealing with images in Next.js. If you leave out this, the reason why we use this is because Next.js can easily optimize our images. We don't have to do it manually. Okay, Next.js optimizes the images. Now I'm going to import the actual image. I'm going to say import. I'm going to give the image a name. I'm going to call it hero. From open quotes, again, like I said, now we're going to navigate back. Right now we're in the we're in the components folder. We're going to get out of this folder. If we get out of this folder, we're now going to be in the source folder. Then we're going to get out of this source folder also. Then we can now enter the public folder. So let me demonstrate that. 2 dots and a slash. Now I'm out of the components folder. As you hear, they're telling me now do I want to enter the app or the components, and I'm going to leave now the source folder. Now I have access to the public folder, the public directory. So I'm going to select public slash. Now I'm going into the images here. Now I'm going to type the name of the image plus the extension, the file extension. It's very important. The name is hero, that's the name of the image, and the file extension is png. So now I've imported that image. Now to use that image, I'm going to use it here. I'm going to first put it in a div, within a div. This step is much familiar if you have already done it in CSS. In case you haven't, I'm going to try to use the flexbox model to achieve that effect we have on the PivoSoft website, the Coding Academy website. So I'm going to use the image component that we imported, this component. Okay, image. Then I'm going to give it a source. I'm going to open curly brackets, and I'm now in passing this, our actual image that we have imported. That is our source. Sorry, this is our source. Paste it there. I'm going to give it an attribute to describe what the image is. I can say coding picture. Then I'm going to give it a class name. I'm going to give it a object contain. This means I want the image to maintain its aspect ratio, like its size. Like even if I make it smaller, the image maintains that size. I don't know how to explain it well. Like it doesn't stretch. In other words, the image doesn't stretch, it stays the same. It just gets smaller but stays the same. Then I'm going to close. Again, components are self-closing tags, right? They're self-closing. If I'm to come back to our website, we should see the image there. Yeah, it's here, very big. Let me see. Oh, I see what the problem is. The problem is we had given it a height to cover the screen. So I'm going to delete that because we no longer need it. Yeah, now we should be able to see everything. Hello world, welcome. That's our image, which is very, very large right now. But you're going to put this. We're going to put this on the left and the image on the right. Okay, let's do that. To do that, I'm going to put this text, like the part that I want on the left. I'm going to put it in a div so that they're all together. Then I'm going to select all of it. In VS Code, in case you want to move like this whole block of code, you can either cut and paste, or you can use a shortcut Alt and the up key, like the up arrow on your keyboard, to move code around. Yeah, so I'm going to move it into that div that I've just created. And here where we say flex column, right? Because right now they're in columns, I'm going to say row so that there's left and right. So I'm going to change this to row. If I come back, you should now see it's on the left and this is on the right. So we are halfway there. Now I just need to make this image smaller. I'm going to come here where the image is, and I'm going to say class name here on the div, and I'm going to give it a width. We use W hyphen, then the size you want. I'm going to start with let me say 200. Now when you import the image this way, by default the image is going to take up the full width of that div. Okay, so when you give it here width of 200, the image is going to take up all this 200, not more. So if I'm to come back, you can see the image is now much smaller. Okay, now maybe I'm just going to add some space here, maybe add some padding to the top. We gave it a, we centered, justify center. Now I might give it a gap of let me say 10. This is just add a gap between the two divs. As you can see, there's now a gap. Let me add a padding on the top because they're touching the very top. I mean, it's a padding 20. Yeah, at least they're now kind of in the center. So I hope we have tried to achieve this in a very short time. Titus, are you okay with this?
Yes, I'm very, very okay now. Very, very okay.
Yeah, so that's how we did here. Although, of course, there are other things you do, but this is like the basic. This is the basic way of doing it. Then you can later refine it, add stuff, make it better.
And sorry, this is the background color I used for the image. I mean for the Evo section. How did you come about it? Like how did you do it?
The background image.
Yeah, the background color, the color.
It's not a color, it's actually an image.
It's an image. Okay.
Yes, it's an image, not a color. There you need
I
like a
alright.
background image.
I thought you combined colors.
No. So once you know how to do this thing we have done here, you can do the same thing here in the next. You apply the same knowledge right here.
Oh, that means the image you just make it the background, right? Full background.
This background image. Yeah, let me try to redo it so that you guys actually see how it's done.
Okay.
Let me get I'm going to try to use that exact same image. Let me copy it. It was in background. I think how I organize things here in the Coding Academy websites. In the public directory, images directory, then everything is organized in folders, so I easily know where to go. I don't need to go through a lot of images. I know I want backgrounds, it's in the backgrounds folder within the images. So that's why it's good to be organized. It saves you time when you're looking for something specific. Yeah, this is the image, wallpaper one. So I'm going to copy it and bring it into our image here. Okay, close this. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to import that image and I'm going to call it background from, then again we're going to navigate all the way to where it is. So I'm going to first leave the components folder, leave the source folder, leave the source folder, then go to the public folder, images, then I'm going to enter the name of the image, which is wallpaper 1. Sometimes it might autocomplete for you, sometimes it might not. So for you it might autocomplete, for me it hasn't, so I have to type it plus the file extension. As you can see, this one is a JPEG. a JPG.
Excuse me, Simon.
Yeah.
I'm just asking shortly. Like, why is it that you've used import background from, yet the other side you've used import image? I thought it is an image.
It is an image. I don't get you.
I'm saying we've used different words like import image
Yeah,
from next image,
this is
right?
a component. A
Yes, now
component
this
is,
one we've used import background.
no, this is an image, the background image itself.
Mm.
Like this is the image we're importing.
Yes.
Yes, we're not importing a component, we're importing the image. Let me just show you what I mean. I'm just going to copy and paste this to, so that you, if I'm to come back here, as you can see, we're importing this image. It's just a normal image. I don't know if you can see. So these are just two normal images. Alright, I hope you have understood that.
Simon, well done. I just wanted to ask something. Is the pagination or the scrolling effect automatic?
For what? For the website?
Yeah, how do you?
Oh, this is automatic. The more you add, the more things you add, the more it scrolls.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, it's automatic. So to use this image we have imported as a background, because right now it's not really a background, it's a normal image. So to use it as a background, we're going to say, I might come here, let me use the end. Instead of object contain, I might say object cover. Okay, I hope you guys know how to use background images in CSS, because backgrounds usually give them a cover so that they take up the whole width, right? They can stretch to take up the whole width of the div that they're given or they're provided. Here I'm going to use a keyword called fill. Okay, it's a keyword called fill. If I come back, you should see its effect. It has filled up the div. We no longer see the stuff behind. So that's what the keyword is for. When you're using background images like this, you should make the parent div, which is this one, the parent. You should make it relative, position relative. Okay, hope you guys are following. When you make it position relative, you also make the other divs. Now this is the text. Now this is our text stuff, right? You also make them relative. If I make this relative, I'm going to make one so that you can see. It's now showing. It's now on top of the image. If I remove, then it will be behind the image. So, sorry. Then I'm also going to come here on the image, relative. Now they're all back and this image is behind. So I've tried to replicate what we have here. Of course, this one I put in time and efforts. Here I've done this very fast, but yeah, this is just to give you the idea of how I used background image. Yeah, so we gave it the source like the normal one out. Maybe I can change this to a background image. This is a description of the image. Again, class name, instead of object contain, we have said cover. Then we gave it fill, meaning fill up the whole parent container. This is the parent. And when we use fill, then everything else should be relative. The other divs, so that they are on top of this image. I hope you guys have understood that concept. Have you guys understood that concept?
Yes, me have understood. I don't know the rest.
Yeah, in case you're wondering how there is this dark thing behind, that's another div with an opacity. It's black, but it has like an opacity. Let me show you the actual code for that so that you know what I'm saying. Yeah, this is the div. So I gave it a height of, I gave it height full, meaning want it to take up the whole. Let me just do it from scratch so that you guys see how everything is working. So I'm going to create an empty div. It's going to have nothing inside. Then I'm going to give it a class name. I'm going to give it a background of black. Right? If I'm to come back on our website, you don't see it at all because the div is empty. Because the div is empty, you can't see anything. That is why we give it a height. That's why we explicitly give it a height full. If I'm to come back, still won't see anything. Then we also give it a width full. Okay, you should now see it. It's this thing here. Sorry, no. See, it's not relative yet. Let me see. BG black. I'm going to make it absolute. Okay, yeah, it's absolute, so I hope you can see it's in front of the background image. That's why you can't see the background image now. I hope you guys know how positions work in CSS. This is a position absolute. That's what the keyword means. I hope you guys are there. That's what the absolute is. It's like fixed, absolute, sticky. So that's what that is. Then I'm going to give it an opacity. Let me say 50. As you can see, you can now somehow see the background. If I give it 0, you will clearly see the background. If I give it like a value of 50, it's not, I don't know if you can see that effect like here.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, so that's how that background, that's how it's somehow dark. It's just an empty div that's taking up the full height and width. Yeah, so we have somehow tried to replicate the hero part here. In case you wanted this button to be a link, you import the link component. Okay, and in case you're wondering why we didn't use the HTML stuff, it's because we're using Next.js and we want everything to be optimized. So also for links, instead of using the anchor tag like you would in HTML like this, right? Here we use links. So we're going to import the link component from next link. Sometimes it might autocomplete for you, sometimes it might not, but this is how you do it. So you have imported the link component. Now this button here, I'm going to change it to a link. Okay, and every link must have like where it's going to, an address. So I'm going to say maybe this link, when you press sign up, it takes you to the Academy sites. Academy, yeah. Let me see. Let me try to refresh here. It seems to have an error. I'm not sure why. Import link, yeah, we've imported. Yeah, we're using it. Let me just restart the server. Yeah. So now if I click this link, it should take me to the Academy website. Oh, sorry about that. With links, if you don't specify the whole URL, it might think it's within that website. So yeah, I'm going to specify HTTPS. So if I let's go back, yeah, it has taken us to our Academy website. So this link has taken us to the Academy website. In case maybe you don't want this link to, like you want it to open another tab instead of, you know, like overwriting it, like your website or where you are, you give it a target underscore blank. Okay, so this will force this link, this will force it to open or to go to this link but within another tab instead of the same tab. So now if I click this link, it should open another tab instead. Yeah, which takes us to our website. So that's how links work in Next.js.
Excuse me, Simon.
Yeah.
You mean it's the same tag, like it's the same way I can use to connect, for example, Facebook, Twitter, what?
Yeah.
You know?
It works the same as the HTML anchor tag.
Okay.
Just because you use link, but yeah, the rest is the same. Remember, we imported the image component and we also imported the link component. If I take out this, I delete it, then I should find an error on the page. Link is not defined, meaning I've not imported it, but I'm using it. So yeah, you have to make sure you import what you're using. Like, let's say this image, if I'm to remove it, but I'm using it here, then I won't find any image and an error. Hero is not defined. So you have to use what you're importing. Rather, you can't use what you have not imported. If you use link and you have not imported it, it won't work. Yeah, I think that's enough for today. I don't know. Any questions? Anyone with any questions?
Thank you very much, Simon. This has been an outstanding work. I believe the people on call can attest to this, and he deserves his flowers. We can give him more flowers because I believe that he has demonstrated how to build an application or website in Next.js. So very well done. We appreciate you for sacrificing your time, Simon, to come and teach your colleagues how to build an application in Next.js. And so we expect going forward to have these more this session so that you guys can benefit as much as you can. And this is why I was saying that I need more of you. I need more of you to come on board and do exactly what Simon is doing. So that means it requires you to learn, it requires you to practice and be as good as Simon. And I look forward to many more of you to come on board and do this kind of work for your colleagues as well. So thank you, Simon.
You're
That is
welcome, sir.
my final shot.
I think that's it. No one has any questions?
Simon, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Simon, the group, what handle are you using?
What?
And the WhatsApp group,
Yeah.
yourself does who? Your handle?
Username already taken.
Makes sense. Yes, I can relate. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I guess that's it. No more questions. Alright, bye.